Hello, 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 and welcome to the Manifesting Your Goals to make your next semester your best semester vision, strategy, planning, goal setting session. So I am very excited and very eager to get started with you all. I think it's a great opportunity to have everyone have the opportunity before the semester begins or in the first few weeks of the semester for you to be able to get started and get the semester off on the great first right track. So, my name is Phoenix. If you are not familiar with who I am known on the internet as the College Success Professor. And so I wanted to do this year and may do it in future years too. But if you have already registered, you should have the workbook, which you can repeat every semester that you are beginning or having a college semester. The strategies and tools and techniques and reflections that we're going to go over are going to be available to you if you did register. If you didn't register, I encourage you to do so on my website, which I will actually put on the bottom. It's www.collegesuccessprofessor.com. The actual link to register is on my website, and I will keep it up for a little bit longer. So definitely try and register for the workbook so you can have that always. And this recording, if you did register, will be available for you on demand whenever you need it. So let's get started. So I like to say that the spring semester in particular, but this is, like I said, applicable for any semester, is a great period of time because you have a couple of things going on for you. You've had the opportunity to learn from last semester's mistakes or last semester's lessons learned, and you have the opportunity to have the beginning of the new year, the momentum from that. You also have the great opportunity to just have the fresh start for a new year. So what I want you to do is take some time. If you are in a place where you may be easily distracted, just take some time, take these moments for yourself, put in this extra time, this extra hour or so to get yourself ready for the upcoming semester. As you know, and as I have said before, I think of the semester as having a few different segments. You have the first 5 weeks of the semester, which is the, getting adjusted, getting acclimated to the new teachers, getting acclimated to the new classes, getting acclimated to, the new schedule of the spring semester. And then you have the second 5 weeks where you actually are doing the work, you are getting the projects, the papers, your first feedback. It's also midterm time. It's also the period of time where you can get a withdrawal from a class if you are getting the indication that you're not going to do well in the class. And then you have the last 5 weeks of the semester where it's really, go time, where you have to do all the work. You're learning the most, you're doing the most, and you are, in the home stretch, so to speak. So those three parts of the academic semester are going to be different parts are going to be challenging for different people. So by taking the time now at the beginning of the semester to do some strategizing and planning for what you want to accomplish, what you want to do during that time is going to be beneficial in the long run. So I always say you want to do the planning now so that your future self will thank you for the past performance that you were able to achieve. So let's get started. I'm actually going to share the workbook. And as I said, if you don't have the workbook, it's okay. You can access it if you register and get the workbook at a later date. If not, if you don't have the workbook, I'm going to show you what we're going to be going over in the workbook. Just get a piece of paper or a couple of pieces of paper and a pen, and we're going to get started. So let me just take a sip of my water, stay hydrated. Take a sip of my water, and I'll give you some time to get some pens and papers if you need it, or print out the workbook if you registered, or go to the website. Oh, actually, I forgot to put the website up, so let me do that while we are going to get ready. All right. Let me see. All right, so the website is www.collegesassprofessor.com, and you can just go scroll down. It's like one of the top things. Actually, I could do that. I could just share where you could go on the website, because for some reason it won't let me put the banner up. Typing it in, then I'm going to share. All right, so if you go to the website, www.collegesuccessprofessor.com, you can, in fact, go and register for access to the recordings and access to the actual book. So, okay, so the website is here. Make myself bigger. The website is here, and that's it right there. You can just go there. Let's do this. You can register. I'll get your email. I can send you the recording. I can send you the workbook, and then you'll have this for as long as you need it, whether you're a sophomore, junior, senior, what have you. So, all right, let's get started. So I want to share what you will get after you register, which is the actual workbook. So the workbook is available here. So let's start to refocus and reflect. So the first part of the actual strategy session is going to be for you to have an opportunity to do some assessment and do some reflection of what happened in a past semester. So like I said, this is spring, but if you're starting as a freshman in the fall semester, you can even take it back to high school. And you want to assess and reflect what your experience was for the past semester. So we're going to do that by using these, what I'm calling college life segments, because when you are a college student, your life is different than you were as a high school student. So there are 8 segments that I have specifically identified as your college life segments. And they are here. Actually, you probably can't see them. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. So you have academics, and I'll just go over these real quick and then we'll go into detail for each of them. You have academics, you have your mental health and your mindset, you have your finances, you have relationships, you have your management of your life as a college student, you have your physical health and wellness, the transition to the new semester and your feelings of belonging and connectedness, you have the career, and you have your ability to manage commitments. So let me also add that this may not encompass all the entirety of what is your life. So there are some spaces for you to add additional things. For example, a spirituality or your religious practice or your faith is really important to you. You could add that as a category if you are really into service and something specific with regard to service, serving your community, you're a part of a service organization or things like that, or service in general is important to you. If you're a creative person and having creativity in all aspects of your life is important to you, you can add additional categories. These are just the most common ones based on my work with students that I find are going to be instrumental and critical to a successful semester. So definitely, if there are other categories that I have not mentioned that you feel are important, then you should identify what those are for yourself. So if you have not already, write down those categories. If you have the workbook, then we're on pages 4 and 5 for that. So let me just go into what they are real quick, and I'm going to stop sharing right now just so we can have a little talk. So when you are in college, obviously you are there for academic reasons. You're there to get a specific degree in a specific field, likely. You may go into college undecided, and that is fine. But academics encompasses a bunch of different things. And so when we're thinking about academics, we're talking about your intellectual curiosity with regard to your major, your intellectual curiosity just in general, to be in an environment where you're able to learn from others, learn from faculty, learn from your peers, things like that. So intellectual curiosity is going to be important. Having a major, your academic major, which you're going to get your degree in, is going to be important. Sometimes having a dual major, some students do that, having a minor. Also, you're going to talk about the curriculum, like what specifically are you studying in your major the curriculum, the classes that you have to take, the courses that you have to take. Most students think, when they think of academics, like the grades that you're going to get. Having a certain GPA is going to be important. But in addition to all of that, what is important with regard to being successful academically in college is having a specific system or strategy, like your learning strategies, how you study, how you learn, your system, your process, for getting all of the papers and the assignments and things like that, all of that done, how you learn. That's going to be the part of the academic part. The next category, mental health, in which you can do in this time. I'm just giving you an overview of the different categories that I identify that are important. So make notes of anything that I say that's important, or like really strike a chord with you as to what you want to focus on. So right now we're going to do an assessment of what happened with us last semester, and do some reflection on maybe lessons learned or things that I'm talking about that maybe wasn't a priority, that maybe should have been a priority or you never thought about. So that's what we're going to do here. And then we're going to actually go into the actual assessment part of each of those categories, which is the like next pages or in the next second of the workbook. So the next category is mental health and mindset. So when we talk about your mental health and mindset, luckily there has been more attention put on these things as far as college students, because college students, like many people, are struggling with, all of the demands of life as a college student, all the pressures of being in college, being pressure, comparing yourselves to others, the pressure of being successful, the pressure of getting certain grades, the pressure of being having the need to manage all those things. So your mental health and your mindset are going to be important. So your mindset has to do with your perseverance, your ability to overcome the different obstacles and challenges that you may face, the learning, the actual learning of life and how life works and how people may impact you or not impact you, and your ability to be successful, having boundaries. All of this is a part of your mental health and your mindset. Having your ability to believe, like self-efficacy or self-confidence, you're believing your ability to be successful in your major, especially if you have a challenging or difficult major. Having self-accountability, being able to manage your energy, and all of that is encompassing your mental health and your mindset. So if you think about your semester and what happened with you in your past semester, what lessons you learned, which you didn't necessarily pay attention to. Was it boundaries? Was it managing your energy? Was it all of those things? So identify what those things were. The next category is finances. So finances are going to be obvious. Obviously, your ability to manage your money. If you have a campus job or an off-campus job that you have to have, all of that. Are you able to pay your bills, your actual personal bills, your cell phone bill, your actual tuition bills? All of that is going to be important. Or maybe it may have been a case for some students where your registration for this current semester that you're in was affected because there were some financial paperwork that was not taken care of, or financial circumstances that were not taken care of, that impacted your ability to be able to pay for this term. So that can include your ability to get your textbooks and things like that. So all of those things, your ability to go out and hang out with friends because you don't have enough money, all that is encompassing your finances, which can have a really big impact on your success in a semester. If you're worried about your ability to get your textbook, you're worried about your ability to pay for the upcoming semester, you're worried about getting a job, or the number of hours that you actually work, which you need to work to take care of yourself, is impacting your ability to be successful in your actual classes. So all of that, finances is really a big one and really important. The next category is relationships. And relationships can encompass a wide variety of different types of relationships. So obviously your personal relationships, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if you're in a relationship, that's one aspect. You also have your friendships, new friendships from college, past friendships from home. Your family can be a big part of your relationship. So any aspect of what I'm talking about that has impacted your past success in a past semester is what I'm going to be talking about. Your peers, so the new friends that you made in college, Perhaps you are a part of a mentoring program where many colleges have upperclassmen who serve as mentor. You can have a faculty who may serve as a mentor, or a faculty from a past semester who was really instrumental and influential, someone in your major, your department chair. All these are important relationships that are going to impact your ability to be successful, because your relationships that you have also serve as a support system and a place where you can go to ask for help, which is really important for you to be able to be successful. Also, the relationships that you have with the people on campus who are there to support you. So your relationship, have you made connections with the tutoring office, the counseling center, the career services? All those are going to be important relationships for you to be able to develop and maintain and use when you need them. So the next one, your routines, the college life management is the next one. And the college life management is what I talked about before, when we're talking about the transition, which will be another one. Your management of your life as a college student, it's something that will be an ongoing growth process for you, depending on how far away from, you're being a high school student where maybe your life was not fully managed by you, whereas you're learning and growing to be more independent, more in charge of yourself, more taking personal responsibility. So your ability to manage all the facets of your life is going to be one important category. So that's prioritizing what's important. When we're talking about those relationships, prioritizing going out or hanging out or calling or contacting friends over making sure that you're getting your work done for school, making sure that you have a specific schedule or a routine that'll help you maintain the balance and or navigation of all of those aspects of your life, having systems in place, knowing, if you've made a commitment to, go to college, that some things are going to be, have to, hold off and be put on the wayside. So your college life management is the next one. The next one is your physical health and fitness. So we talked about your mental health and mindset, but now your physical health, like your physical being, your physical body, making sure that you're taking care of that. Oftentimes we hear that, when students go off to college and they have to they get a cold or they get the flu, and they're not able to fully take care of themselves. When you're experiencing periods of stress, sometimes your body can show that. So your ability to make sure you're getting enough rest, that you're exercising, that you're taking care of yourself, that you're eating proper foods to get the right nutrition so that you can manage that energy that you were talking about earlier, and making sure that you can take care of yourself. So all of that is going to be important, your personal health and your wellness. And also, additionally, if you do have some sort of health issue that you have always had, making sure you're taking care of that, making sure that you have the medicines, making sure that you are keeping your medical appointments and things like that. So all of that, the physical health and fitness is going to be a great, really good category as well. And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, but the transition to this upcoming semester, the transition to what is going to be new, what is going to be important, what is going to be your place, your home for the next 15 weeks or however long your semester is. Do you feel comfortable there? Do you feel at home there? Do you feel that you can be successful? Do you feel like this is a place where you are connected, that you have your people that you can connect to, that you have people who can support you, who that you feel like at home, like you feel a member of the community? Do you feel like, if whatever your mascot is for your university, do you feel like a panther? Do you feel like a tiger? Do you feel like a bear? Whatever your mascot is, do you feel connected and happy and proud of being a student at your institution? So all of this is a part of the transition to being a college student. Like, are you happy to be at your institution? Are you happy to be able to learn and grow and connect with everybody there and feel like you're a member of the community? Are you joining like official activities and student organizations? Are you going to campus events and like sporting events and things like that? Do you feel like this is a place where you are able to be nurtured and cultivated and taken care of by being a student there? So that's what we're talking about with regard to the transition to and your belonging to the university. So the last one is the career, and career is obviously the long-term outlook or long-term outcome that many students are looking towards when they're in college. And when we talk about career, no matter where you are on the career spectrum, like you're really clear on what you want to do and what you want to be, or you're still exploration and figuring it out stage. Like, where are you? Do you have some specific intentions and goals with regard to careers? If you do know, are you looking for internships? Are you looking for opportunities to experience what the actual career and or life of whatever your career path is going to be? Are you making those connections with alumni? Are you making those connections with faculty? All of that is going to be important for your understanding and clarity with regard to what you're going to do after you graduate and get into the world of work. So are you doing the research? What are you doing? And then remember, I did say that maybe some of these categories, so those are the 8 categories that I've identified as what's important, but maybe you have some additional categories, like your spiritual life and your ability to be creative, your ability to do service, whatever those are. So I'm going to, take a sip of water that I never did take and give you an opportunity to identify what those may be for yourself. And then we're going to do the actual assessment. So I'm going to bring back up the workbook page so you can see, and maybe I'll make it a little bigger even so you can actually see. And we're going to do some specific assessments. And so when you look at your specific academic life, I want you to rate from 1 to 10 where you are. So we talked about a bunch of different things when we're talking about academics. Your intellectual curiosity, your actual grades, the curriculum, like how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you feeling like you're more on the probation side, like academic probation, like I am struggling on the struggle bus? Or are you like, shooting it out of the park? I'm on the dean's list, like I can add another major, like this is so much fun, this is so great for me, I'm in my happy learning place. Like, where are you as far as the academic part of your life as a college student? And then we're going to do finances next. So when you're talking about your finances, do you feel like you have enough money? You have your campus job, or you don't need a campus job? You would maybe focus on volunteering because money is not necessarily an obstacle for you. Are you on budget? Are you able to get all your textbooks? Are you able to do what you need to do to financially be successful in college? Your loans are good, or you don't even need loans. Scholarships is another point in this finances part. Like, are you good? Do you want to start looking for scholarships to help reduce the loans that you may be taking out, or your loans that your parents may be taking out? Or this may not be a factor. So on a scale of 1 to 10, are you in debt or are you on budget? You're good. Which one? 1 to 10. Circle. And then under each one are lines. So if you want to write specifically what is the reason you scored yourself a 3 area, and what is the reason maybe you scored yourself a 10 in one area, you can use that space to write the why. And if you don't have the workbook, you can, like I said, use your own paper and write those things. And so the transition to and belonging and connectedness with the university, like, where do you feel in that regard? Do you feel like maybe last semester you were really to yourself and introverted, because that can be a personality trait and there's nothing wrong with that, and maybe you want to come out of your shell a little bit more? Or do you feel like, are you really extroverted and you're involved in everything, and you really feel like you picked the best school, like you're so happy that you picked school, it feels like home, you're like you were happy to come back? So where are you from 1 to 10 in that? Then we get to career. We talked about what career is. Are you really clear and working towards your specific career? You're purpose driven, you're focused, you are on track, and you have your internships identified for next summer, all of that? Or are you still trying to figure it out? You're exploring, you're researching, you're trying to make connections and figure out what exactly you want to do with the degree that you're pursuing. Where are you in terms of career? All right. And so, like I said, we're doing the assessment phase. And so when you're talking about your physical fitness and health, are you feeling unwell and burned out in terms of your health? Or do you have like a healthy, fit lifestyle? Your exercise, especially at the beginning of the year, you made a new commitment to your physical health and fitness. You're exercising, you're eating right, you have a schedule, you have a routine. You're feeling good. You're feeling energized and motivated physically in your body. You feel good. like the way you look, you like the way you feel, all of that. So score yourself from 1 to 10 in that. And then the next one is relationship. And we talked about a bunch of different types of relationships that you could possibly be talking about: personal relationships, professional relationships, peer relationships, the relationships with people on campus. Like, do you feel like all of those are in a good place? Or are your relationships feeling you drained, stressed, and broken? Do you feel cared for and supported by the people who are, or you're in relationships with? Do you have any toxic relationships or toxic friendships that you want to change, or spend not as much time with these people? All of that. And then we're talking about the mental health and your mindset. So are you able to take care of your wellness? Are you making sure that your self-talk is positive? Are you saying your affirmations? Are you in a space where you're able to persist? You know that there are going to be challenges and obstacles, and you're mentally able and capable of dealing with them no matter what. You know what to do when you maybe get a grade that you didn't expect to happen, or something unexpected happens to you. Are you in need of support? Or are you thriving else? Do you have a plan of what you're going to do when and if these things happen? Is your mindset on track? Are you self-sabotaging yourself? Are you, being compassionate with yourself when you make a mistake? All of that is encompassing your mindset. And the last and not least, but college life management. So all the aspects of your life, and you as an individual college student, all the things that you have to manage: your job, your family, your relationships, your organizations, your academic work, all of that. Do you have a system and a process and a place to make sure that, when we're in that second part of the semester, those weeks where you got midterms, you got papers, you got readings, you have demands from your job, you have demands from your life, do you have system in place, or do you feel good that you will be able to balance all of that, and you'll be able to get what you need to get done? Or do you feel stressed, and are you juggling everything and feeling overwhelmed? So where are you in terms of that category? So that is the assessment part of the process. So I know that was a lot. So let's take a breath. And let's hydrate. We did some reflection and we did some assessment, and then we're going to do a little bit more reflection next. So you scored yourself in all those areas. How do you feel? It's time to do some reflection. Be honest with yourself about the areas where you really score and what you may need to work on for this upcoming semester. Because one of the great things about being a human and living is that every day is a new day. Every day is a fresh start. Every day is an opportunity to correct past mistakes, and to not dwell on what happened in the past, and to move forward. So there are a couple in the textbook. There are a couple of opportunities for you to do some in-depth reflection, but I want to focus on this one aspect of reflection, and that is identifying what your wins were. Like, what did you accomplish last semester that you are really proud of? And it doesn't even need to be really big. I know for me, when I was in college, and I still am an introvert, but I had an opportunity to not bust out, but like expand beyond my friend group that I had going into college. So I was happy to have made many different connections. Here's your win from last semester. It could be academic. It could be in any of those categories. It could be you were really struggling in a class and then you turned it around, or you were really struggling in a class and you passed and you don't ever have to take it again. Like, what are your accomplishments? I want you to list and celebrate all the accomplishments from last semester that you were able to achieve, and give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a woohoo, give yourself some love, celebrate all of that. And that is where you want to, acknowledge that you learned, you grew, you developed, you became a better person, you became a better version of yourself. So how are you better? How are you different from your past semester to this upcoming semester? So use those. If you have the workbook, fill in that there. If you don't have the workbook, just write it down. And it's important to write these things down for you to actually acknowledge, take the time and acknowledge. And it's also a great idea when you do your goals for this upcoming semester to write, like, how are you going to celebrate these wins? How are you going to celebrate when you achieve these milestones? What are you going to do? How are you going to, say, good job, keep going? Because oftentimes when you're an overachiever or a high performer, you just go on to the next thing without actually acknowledging and recognizing your accomplishments, and that can lead to a sense of not you're not satisfied because you just keep checking off the boxes and you don't acknowledge and celebrate your accomplishments and your abilities. So take some time to do that. If it's just this moment now, like, what are you going to do to treat yourself? If you follow me online, like, one of the things that I celebrate, or one of the ways that I celebrated the ending of last year, was to give myself like an opportunity to do some pampering. I had a massage. So what do you want to do? Like, what is going to be your thing? Go on a trip. What do you want to do? Camp doesn't need to even be a big thing. What are you going to do to reward yourself? Buy yourself something nice. Who knows? Spend some extra time with people you really go visit somebody. I know I used to do that. When my friends went to other institutions, we had different spring breaks. So I would go visit them for my spring break, or even plan on doing spring break if that's in your budget. All those things. And we're going to talk about things that are on your bucket list a little bit later. All right, so after you've celebrated your wins, your next thing that you're going to do is think about what were your biggest regrets from last semester. And regrets are going to be something that is a great opportunity for you to learn from your past mistakes. So when you have regrets, and there's a whole book on regrets, The Power of Regret by Dan Pink, that I love and have read. He talks about 4 specific regrets, but I only want us to focus on 2 of those regrets. And 2 of those, maybe 3, 2 of those regrets that he talks about. So he says there are 4 different types of regrets. Let me see if I can remember them. There's your regrets of connection. So not connecting with people who you've had relationships with or who you wanted to have a relationship with. I think that can be definitely telling in college, whether it's like a friendship or even like a love relationship, like somebody you had a crush on. So regrets of connections. So do you have any regrets of connections from last semester? People who you wanted to connect with, like maybe somebody came on campus, like a famous person came on campus, or a well-known speaker in your major discipline came on campus and you didn't get a chance to hear them talk. Like that could be a connection regret. So like, what were your connection regrets from last semester? The other type of regret is a moral regret. And this can be, cheating, either cheating in a relationship, cheating on an exam. So feelings of you did something that was not morally in line with your beliefs and values, and you regret doing that. So that could be a possible regret. The other regret, which we're not going to talk about, is a foundational regret, and it's a little bit involved, so I won't necessarily get into it that much. But these are things that you, like, I guess, habits or decisions that you've made over a long term that can lead to big regrets or big feelings that you wish you would have done. You wish you could go back in time and do something differently. So this can relate to college, but usually maybe like when you were a senior, you wish that when you were a freshman, you had done something differently with regard to taking college more seriously, or even like an older student who like goes back to college after, not being successful the first time. That can be like a foundation regret. Like you wish you would have known and been more clear and focused in what you wanted to do. But we're not necessarily, if you do have something that falls in that category, definitely write something down. But that's not usually one that people usually talk a lot about in the college environment. And then the last regret is regrets of boldness. And so this is a big one too. So you did not, a regret of boldness is you did not do something or say something or take an action that was maybe out of your comfort zone, or maybe would be considered a risk, and you regret not doing it. You regret not going out for a play. You regret not going out for the sports team. Something that would have been what you considered bold. So people regret things they didn't do based on the studies in this book more than things that they did do. So your regret of boldness was something you wish you would have done last semester that was like really bold and could have set you up for an opportunity or a relationship even that you wish you would have done? So what are your boldness regrets? All right, I'm going to take some time, or I'll let you take some time and think about any or all of those and see what happens when you think about those. And as we move into what we're going to do for this upcoming semester, because it's always important, in my opinion, for you to do some reflection and assessment about, what you wish you would have done, who you wish you would have connected to, and all of those things before you move forward and actually identify what you're going to do for the upcoming year. So we talked about your regrets, we talked about your wins. Now we're going to start setting the goals. So if you're ready to do that, I am. So let's get started. In the actual, I don't know what happened. Why did it go black? Okay, it's back. In the actual workbook, there are some additional pages for you to take notes on any of those things that I was talking about specifically with regrets in those specific areas. So you could do that if you like. And there's some more opportunities for you to do some reflection, but we're not necessarily going to do all of that today. This is, like I said, a resource for you to use at your leisure at any point of a new semester. It's a great opportunity for you to do some reflection. So there are a bunch of prompts that you can do some reflection on. But because we have limited time, like we're like halfway done, so I want to continue to do that. So the next step in this process is for you to envision the possibilities. So you did your assessment, your self-assessment, and your reflection about past semester. So now we're in the present. Actually, we're kind of in the future. You're envisioning the possibilities for what you want this upcoming semester to look like. And as it says on the top, you want to dream big. You want to do something a little bit later, which we're going to call stretch goals. You want to think about those regrets that you had and think about imagining, what would happen if you would have taken that bold step, if you would have reached out and made that connection, if you didn't do something that you regret. So what are your big dreams for this upcoming semester? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be different? What do you really want to experience? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want when you remember this past year? What do you want to remember? What's possible? What do you think is possible? If you could dream your biggest dream about your experience in college, what would it be? And as you do that, as you write or jot these things down, another great thing that you can do, and I've had students do this before, is like think about your bucket list for which you want to experience and accomplish and do in college. And a great resource that I like to use, although sometimes movies about college can be like completely unrealistic and like set students up for like unrealistic expectations, but this is the time to have those unrealistic expectations about what college is going to be like, what this semester is going to be like. So I like to reference like old TV shows or old movies. Like if you think about those, like what those characters do in those TV shows and movies that you would also like to do. Like this is your opportunity to dream big, like create your college bucket list. Like what do you want to do? Which character do you identify? Like whose life do you wish you had? We're talking about spring break, like going to Miami for spring break was like always a big thing, like in TV shows and movies. Getting an internship at a big, company or organization, like meeting your role model. Like what is on your bucket list? Like identify the big dreams. What's on your bucket list? So this is the time. And what is great about this point in the semester is that anything is possible. Like we're envisioning the possibilities. Anything is possible. Don't think about what you can actually do. This is not the time to be realistic and reality-based. This is the time to dream big and shoot for the moon. So let's write down some of those things now. Okay. I hope you got at least 5 things down. If you don't have 5, get to 5. I'll give you one more minute. Get to 5. Get 5 big dreams that you want to accomplish. 5 things on your bucket list. Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to meet? What kind of internship? Like, what's your dream internship? What's your dream relationship? Like, who have you been eyeing on campus and you don't think they know you exist? Like, who's your dream relationship? Not even on campus or in life. So you can think about all those different categories. You know, do you have like big fitness goals? Like, what's your dream body? What's your dream? Like, what is your dream? Like, envision it. This is the time. Envision it. Let me go through those categories. Like, what's your dream GPA? What's your dream? What's your dream like campus job? Or like, if you want to think about money, like what would be your dream opportunity to, like, how much money would you like to make this semester? We talked about relationships. We talked about fitness. So what are your dreams? Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to be? All right. So you should have as many as possible, hopefully at least 5. All right. So when we talk about these different dreams and goals and aspirations that we have in college and life, there's more than this. Just the often people stop is that they just have these big dreams and fantasies about what life could be like, what life should be like, and then you don't actually take the steps and actions to reach those goals. So that's what this next part and section is going to be about: goal setting and planning. So this is the actual work part that your future self will thank you for, because when you come up with a specific plan for achieving those goals, and we're only going to focus on one goal, but what I want you to do before you do that is to think about all the different areas that we talked about before, and there's space for the ones I've identified on this page or additional areas that I have not identified. So what is your stretch goal for academics? And when we talk about a stretch goal, it's kind of in line with the unrealistic or dream goals. So it's something that's just maybe a bit out of your reach, and you probably can't get there without help and support and a plan and a strategy. But be ambitious, think big. So set a goal for any of the categories or all of the categories that you want, that you think there's no way, maybe, could I? Like, think of something that is maybe just a little bit out of your reach and stretch for it, reach for it, try it. If not now, when? Why not? Try it. See what happens. It's better to have tried than have failed, than never to have tried at all. So identify those categories, figure out which ones you want to do. You can just do one for now and then come back and then come up with some more after you've accomplished them or after you've made some steps. So on this page here, on this workbook section, on my workbook section, I have academics as a category, mental health and mindset, financial, relationships, college life management. But like I said, you can do other areas: physical fitness and health, and spirituality. What are your spiritual goals? All right, so you've taken that opportunity and you've taken some reflection and some thought and consideration about your regrets, your accomplishments, your stretch goals. So now we're going to do the planning part. This is what I consider the fun part, but some people consider it the harder part. So when you usually have a vision board party, people think of, and actually I'm looking over here on my office. I have my vision board right there. It's a bunch of wonderful, actually it's mainly words actually, but it's a visual representation of what my goals and dreams and aspirations are. And it's great to have that as a physical reminder. But more than that, what's important is having a specific plan, because you can have a vision board that'll sit on your wall or sit on your desk or sit wherever. But if you're not actually taking the steps to actually plan out how you're going to achieve those things on your vision board, it'll just remain a source of decoration. And actually, it could be a source of like a reminder that you're not doing what you have to do. So this is an important step. When you have a vision board party, it's great to have that physical representation, but it's also important to have a strategy for how you're going to reach those specific visions and dreams and goals. So that next year you can create a new vision board with new things and different things. All right, so let me do the quote real quick. Can't just brush by the quote. So I don't know where I first heard this, but I thought it was fantastic. So a dream, so we're just dreaming in that past segment. Dream written down becomes, excuse me, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. So that's what we're going to do now. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. Just said that was important. And a plan backed by action becomes reality. So those three things are so critical to your success in the upcoming semester. Oh, just realized I wasn't sharing. All right, so you can see the quote again. So a dream is important. So we just had big dreams. We had stretch goals. We had we talked about our regrets and wish we would have done differently, and bold moves and things like that. So a dream, when you write the dream down, which I hope you were doing with the workbook, becomes a goal. And we're going to specifically identify what goals we have in the different areas. Then when you break down that goal with the steps, you have a specific plan. And just because that's not it, you can't just have the plan. You actually have to implement. You have to take action. You have to do the thing, do the works that is required to reach the goal. So this is why this is one of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite things to do, because this is actually strategizing, which is what I love to do, is strategy, and tweaking and adapting and adjusting the strategy for what works and what is realistic is one of my favorite things to do. So this is another opportunity for you to reflect, but I think we have done a bunch of reflection already today, so we're going to move forward. And what we're going to do is this framework or this system for setting goals called the goal pyramid. Maybe you are familiar with the goal setting process. There are a bunch of different strategies out there, like the SMART goal strategy: specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and timely. Different people have different acronyms for that. There's the DAPS: dated, achievable. I forget what the PPS means, but those are the traditional formats for setting goals, which I think are fine. But let's try something new and different this year. We're going to create a goal pyramid. And if you're familiar with Angela Duckworth, who wrote the book Grit, she talks about this in her this strategy in her work. So we're going to try this one. So now you've taken time to think about what your stretch goals are, what your big dreams are for the semester. I want you to choose one of those goals, one of the big dreams, one of the aspirations that you had. It can be from one of the categories. It could be academic, and maybe I'll use academics as an example so we walk through it. So you're going to write specifically what that goal is. So on the next page of the workbook, you're going to answer the question in that goal box. So I think on page, what page? There's a blank one on the next page. On page 17, blank one, but I'm going to walk you through this one now. So on your goal, I want you to be write specifically, like, what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? And if we use academics as an example, what is your specific goal academically this semester? So it can be as simple as a certain GPA, or it could be as specific as a class. Like you looked at your schedule, or you're in classes now, you've had first week of classes, or however many weeks of classes you're in, and you know that this particular math class, I'm just going to use that as an example because that's what would be for me. This math class is something that you are dreading and are afraid that you're not going to do well in. So what is your goal for that math class? Is it a specific GPA goal, grade goal? Is it a specific, maybe this is not the first time you've taken this class. Also guilty. You took it for a second time, or even a third time, who knows? So you've taken this class, and like, what is your goal? Do you want to, maybe your intention is not to withdraw from the class again, or drop the class or give up again. Like, what is your specific goal for the class? What maybe this class is prohibiting you from getting into a specific major, or who knows? So what is your specific goal? What is your intention for this semester for this class? We're going to focus on academics, but you don't have to pick academics. You can pick a health goal. You can pick a career career goal, you can pick a relationship goal, you can pick, whatever speaks to you. And like I said, we're just going to do one example today. But like I said, this is something that you can repeat for multiple goals, but we're just going to go through one example today. So what do you want specifically? What do you want? Do you want to pass the class? Do you want to get an A in a class? Do you want to get a B in a class? What do you want specifically with regard to this academic goal? Do you want to finally learn how to solve a statistics problem? That would be another class that probably students may have difficulty with. A chemistry class. Like, what do you want to do? Because there are some classes that you have to pass and they're foundational to your major. So you have to learn the foundations or the basics in order to move on to the next level. So what is your specific intention? And what drives you? What is your motivation for wanting to pass this class? Is it to fulfill the degree requirement? Is it to actually learn this process or this strategy or this concept? What is it? So that's in the goal box. All right. And then the milestones boxes, you have 3, but it could be more than 3 milestones. Like what are the things that are going to let you know that you're accomplishing goal? Like, what does success look like? So I will get what grade on the first test? What does success look like? What are the milestones that you're going to take? What's a micro accomplishment that's going to help you to keep going? I'm going to ask questions in class when I don't understand, or I'm going to go to office hours when I don't understand. I am not going to get, or let's put it in the positive, I am going to be proactive and make sure I am on task with my readings and assignments for this class. I am going to identify a tutor who can help me to understand the material better in this class. What are the milestones that you're going to achieve and accomplish to make sure you get to this goal? And as I said earlier, you want a reward. Like, what are you going to do when you reach these milestones? What's a little reward that you're going to give yourself? Are you going to have a celebratory dinner with a friend? Are you going to maybe take a visit home and go to your favorite hangout spot? Like, what are you going to do? Like, what's a little reward that you can give yourself for accomplishing these milestones that you think are going to be important? Oh, it could be you're going to make sure that you get whatever grade on the midterm. So what are the milestones? And so this is the goal pyramid. And then even beyond those milestones, what are the steps, the little action steps that you're going to have to accomplish? So as I said, the semester is broken down into 3 5 increments. So like identify, like put a bullet point, like what do you want to do? What are the little steps that are going to help you reach that midterm grade? What are the little steps that are going to help you reach that high GPA? Sometimes the first step is getting the textbook. Little action step, reading the textbook. Little action step, doing the homework. Another action step, forming a study group. Another action step, practicing every day or for blank hours. How are you going to get there? This is the work that people don't do. How are you going to get there? What do you need to do to get there? That's what the goal hierarchy strategy session is all about. You're going to identify what specifically you are going to do, how you're going to celebrate your success, how you're going to reward yourself, how you're going to stay motivated when you don't feel like it. What are you going to do to reach your goal? All right. And like I said, this is just one goal. I just wanted to do that as an example. Sorry, it wasn't big enough. Hope you could see it. But like I said, if you do need the actual workbook, you can get it on my website, www.collegesuccessprofessor.com. And if you do want the recording of this strategy session, and it wasn't, it didn't even take it didn't even take the full hour. So if you invest 1 hour and setting yourself up to have a successful semester. Now, warranted, we did do a lot of explaining, so the process could go faster, and you could do more goals than just the one example that we went over. But the important part is the process. So you assess and reflect on your regrets, your accomplishments, your lessons learned, your all of the things that you did or did not do in the past semester. And then you have like big dreams and big stretch goals and big things that you want to accomplish. And then you create a plan for achieving them. It's really very common sense when you think about it. There are, like I said, goal setting strategies, but the point is to make sure you're doing the work. As one of my favorite authors and coaches says, common sense is not always common practice. So you may know intellectually what you're supposed to do, you may know, but are you actually doing it? Are you actually practicing what you know? Are you actually doing what is required? Are you doing the work? So, like I said, this framework, this recording, this opportunity for you to be able to do that was what my goal was for today. And like I said, this is something that you should do at the beginning of each semester, at the beginning of each year. So we've identified the categories. You can identify your own categories. We've identified the systems. I walked you through it. I've given you some questions to consider and think about. And I encourage you to, if you're not quite done yet, if there were some spots that you didn't quite complete, go back, print out the workbook, watch the video again, and make yourself a plan for having a successful semester. When people who are successful don't go into a new semester, a new year, a new project without a plan. If you are going into the semester without a specific plan and a specific goal for you to accomplish, then you're likely going to get what you get. If you have a specific plan, if you have a specific strategy for what happens when things don't go as expected, then you're more likely to be successful. If you're doing things to make your future self more successful, if you have a plan, if you have a strategy, if you have supports in place, if you have the tools in place to help you to be successful, you're more likely to be successful. And this is just one small thing. If you have a plan going in and you have a plan for when things don't go as planned, then you are more likely to be successful. So that is all I wanted to share for today. This is Phoenix, the College Success Professor, helping you to get the best of your educational investment. Like I said, if you didn't have an opportunity to register for the recording and workbook, definitely I encourage you to do so at www.collegesuccessprofessor.com. And I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely give me a like, a thumbs up. Hopefully you felt this was great for you, and I will see you next time. Thanks.